Hey, everybody. Welcome to the June edition of the Chiefs Report. I'm going to get rid of myself because nobody wants to stare at me, and I'm going to cover up some words if I don't delete that little thumbnail. So, okay, here we go. So still a lot going on that I want to fill you in on here real quick. I do want to point out that these Chiefs reports follow the same format, although on a smaller scale as the officers' meetings. So there's an administrative piece to this. There's an operational piece. We'll talk a little bit about equipment and facilities. And then in the officers' meeting, there'll be a training piece tonight. I'm going to cut you out of that piece for tonight. But when that does really apply to you, there might be a small training piece to these small little updates as well. And that can be something as simple as a new piece of equipment that we can show via Zoom, or just a procedure we want to talk about, or a small training thing. But so anyway, let's get to it here. So administrative updates, policies and procedures are still happening. I'm still going to start pushing some more of those out. So I'm asking you to please continue to review that annex book that is posted at both stations. That is still good to look through and stay updated with. And at some point, once we're really kind of rolling with those, we'll kind of flip and make a new SOG manual. But for now, we're going to kind of work between a couple of different books. But in effect, immediately, what I want you to pay attention to specifically is the condition red and white responses. There was a list in that book that talks about what types of calls based on dispatch information we should be responding to, lights and sirens, and what types of calls we should be heading to on a condition white response or without lights and sirens. So please pay attention to those. Those are in effect right now. And also any previously agreed upon Division 5 SOGs, those date back from several years now of SOGs that the section has agreed upon to follow either when neighbors come here or when we go there, or just as kind of everyday response. So please brush up on those as well. A lot of talk about bylaws still and where we stand with that. From my perspective, I did finally meet with Brad Pinsky for several hours, either last week or the week before, and he and I are working through the operations pieces, specifically officers' qualifications and that whole process. So much more to follow soon on that. We're just kind of working through the back end of things, of what those might look like and how to make those work best. YouTube channel, right? So this, hopefully by now you are actually watching this video from the YouTube channel. My plan is to send out the YouTube channel link that I made for Manoa. And what you'll see on that is any videos that we post. So these meeting videos or these update videos, there could be some training videos on there, just some things we might be able to push out, visually versus just a bunch of emails. So just trying to use every tool we possibly can. I'm also going to push out a Google form, and that Google form is for you to fill out and please send back or submit at least. And that's going to be specific about duty schedules. Quite a bit of talk about how do we get duty crews in quarters, or how do we start that process. And the best way for us to start is to get the feedback from you all that are going to use that program. So you should see that very soon. Side note, if you don't have a Google or a Gmail account, please make yourself one. It'll be much easier for you to navigate Google once you have a Gmail account. So if you don't have one, please make yourself one, and that will make these forms and things to use a little easier for now until we have a better platform to push these things out through. Exterior firefighters that have SCBA face pieces in their locker or their turnout gear. Don't be surprised if your station captain asks you for those. We are suddenly short SCBA face pieces and need to issue those to interior firefighters or those folks that are heading to firefighter 1 or interior firefighter classes, those kind of things. Rest assured that we will put an SCBA face piece on every piece of apparatus, so that if you need to don one in the event that, although unlikely, of an emergency, we have to put a face piece on, you could do so. We are not going to issue face pieces to exterior firefighters because we need them elsewhere right now. Some operational updates. The safety officer spoke with the officers tonight. talking about a decon policy in draft and some rehab procedures, making sure that, again, we are taking care of ourselves, which is extremely important. And then one other note, please make sure to wear your PPE on calls, right? That's why we have it. It's one of the first questions that gets asked during any kind of incident where there's an injury or fatality involved. Was the appropriate PPE worn? If that answer is no, it's a problem. So wear your PPE. Have your bunker pants on, your coat on. You should come off from the apparatus ready to go to work in your gear on every call. The only place I'll give you some leeway is driving. It is a known thing with E1s. It's not a slam on E1s. It's just a known thing that those pedals are really close together, the gas and brake pedal. So if you don't feel comfortable driving that rig in bunker pants, I hear you on that. It's fine to drive in street clothes, but once you arrive at the scene, the expectation is for you to put your gear on. So please be wearing your PPE. I just put a directive out about that today. That'll be posted at both stations. On the EMS side of the house, the DMO spoke about ambulance ride program. That policy is in draft. We are bouncing that back and forth between the Waves ambulance folks and ourselves to make sure that we kind of meet up in the middle somewhere and making sure that we are training our folks to be able to ride the ambulance and eventually be a crew chief. Those kind of things. We've got some good ideas of how to involve ourselves a little more in EMS, and also trying to dedicate some time for EMS training. So the thought right now is maybe to use a little bit of the Wednesday night training, whether it's 15 minutes or half an hour or even longer, dedicated specifically to EMS training. So we need to brush up on that stuff as well. Training as a larger topic. We're going to change the format a little bit here, and we're going to start to have monthly topics. So an engine month, a truck month, a rescue month, and then probably a special operations month. And just really hammer every topic we possibly can in that month specific to those topics. So we'll start drills with reviewing the objectives and the topic itself and what the expectations are. There'll be some kind of a warm-up skill. What I mean by that is something we might think is easy or take for granted, but something we should be really proficient in. So dawning and doffing is a good one. So getting all of our gear on from standing still, including breathing air, in under 2 minutes, which shouldn't be a problem for anybody. So getting that done, multiple times and gets our bodies warmed up, gets us ready to learn, make sure our gear is in good shape, those kind of things. And we'll make some of those adjustments as we go. And then the actual training piece. What we're going to try to do is pilot some skill stations. So for those that have been in EMT class before or EMS, you can recall going through different skill stations under one training night. Same thing here. There's nothing more I hate than downtime and standing around waiting for my turn to go. So breaking our groups into smaller groups to give people much more hands-on time is the goal here. So that's going to be the plan moving forward. Look, bullet point in the bottom here. You have to participate in training to receive credit. We don't have no passive observers. No, hey, I watched somebody cut a hole in the roof, so that gives me credit for roof ventilation. No way. We're going to participate in training or we're not going to get credit for drill. Now, that said, there are certainly times where the drill topic might not apply to you or based on your level. So if I'm simply an operator or an exterior firefighter and we are just working through SCBA survival skills, clearly you're not going to participate maybe in that piece. However, there's always things to do. Throwing ground ladders to make sure that people can get out of the building to help that survival skill, working through ropes and knots to make sure we can lift and lower tools or a firefighter out of a window. So we'll be very aware of those skills and dedicate some time to the folks that might not be participating directly in that topic, but that would be supportive of that topic. So if for some reason you are not going to participate in drill, but you are going to hang around the fire station while drill's happening, I'm sure we can accommodate you by offering some standby credit or something like that, but it's just not going to be training credit. It's not going to be drill credit. Response plans. So new response plans should be in place the next couple of weeks. I hope that was going to be sooner. However, some staffing issues up at the 911 center are going to slow that process down a bit. But the structure fire boxes will change a bit. I think I mentioned last time we are going to reduce the number of box alarms we have, and we are adding resources. So, for example, Fayetteville will be on almost every call with us during the day, 6 to 6, Monday through Friday, for everything up to including Kirkville Road. And East Syracuse will handle the calls with us north of Kirkville Road. And again, those are fire alarms, appliance fires, 80s, electrical fires, those kind of things. So expect that to happen sooner than later, over the next couple of weeks here. I don't exactly know when, but that's going to happen. And duty chief program, I've heard nothing but positive feedback so far for the most part, on both sides. From our personnel, seem to enjoy having somebody with them, seem to enjoy the camaraderie of having a different chief kind of come over and say, hey, what's going on? And I've heard the same feedback from the duty chiefs as well coming here, that has been a pretty welcoming atmosphere. So I'm happy to see those gaps being bridged for sure. Equipment facilities, some apparatus layout changes will be on the horizon here. You may see some officers or myself or a bunch of firemen maybe going through apparatus and wondering about how things can be laid out differently. The goal here is not just trying to lay things out similarly, but also have some rhyme or reason to it. For a simple example, we were going through the ladder the other day and realizing that we had to go to 4 different spots to be ready for a chimney fire. So those things just aren't, they're just not cohesive on the scene. So we want to make sure that we are really thinking that, okay, here's the best way to run this, and here's some other ideas, and here's what makes sense. So you might see that happen over the next couple of weeks, but again, rest assured that you'll be included in that process, and maybe we'll have a video over the new layout of certain apparatus. Station 2 renovation, I've been asked about a couple of times. Those initial discussions have again started. I say again because they were well in process before when that stalled out. So we're just looking through some ideas and some things that we might be able to do. I don't know that a full-on renovation is possible right now. So I've asked the architects and some engineers to talk about what we could do in our current footprint. What are some things we can do to make the space work? Bunk rooms are certainly a priority for me. The way I say the way of the future is in-house crews. It's not. It's the way of the past. We are already behind on that. Or the way of the present, I guess I'll say, is to have crews in quarters. So I also recognize the fact that if we are going to ask folks to stay overnight, we need to give them a place where they can rest. So certainly that is a priority for me. So we're working through some of those some ideas right now. If you have some specific ideas about that, I would love to hear them. The last thing there is, look, have some pride in your building, right? So it's not somebody else's job to take out the garbage. It's all of our job. It doesn't have to be somebody else's job to empty a half, bottle of water and then throw it in the recycling bin or the recycling or the returnables, those kind of things. It's okay to grab a vacuum cleaner and run it down the rugs real quick. It's okay to wash the windows. It's okay to be proud of our home. It's okay to want somebody to come in and be proud of what we have. So, please feel free to do that. And I'm encouraging you to please do that. Just so you're aware, I'm not going to drag you through the entire topic tonight, but just so you're aware, what our officers are talking about tonight is incident management. So we'll spend some time with that tonight, and then, oops, I mean, do that. And then with that, I'll bring that back up another time for us to go through as well. I keep hitting the wrong button, sorry. So anyway, with that, that's enough. Sorry about that. That's enough for me for tonight. Again, just want to give a quick update and thank you all for doing what you do, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.